As it has been widely documented, gender-based inequalities in access to and control of productive and financial resources inhibit agricultural productivity, reduce food security. The report, launched, is a joint product of UN Women, UNDP, United Nations Environment Programme, Poverty Environment Initiative, UNDP, UNEP, Africa and the World Bank in collaboration with the UN Women, Eastern and Southern Africa Region Office.
Today we launched a very important report, which was the cost of gender gap in agricultural productivity. It was a regional study that was conducted in Uganda, Malawi and Tanzania. It was a very important study in the sense that we got to hear from different stakeholders, giving us recommendations about the government, about the private sector, the financial institutions, how they can improve different services for women so that women have improved access to agricultural productivity. It was a very good forum where different stakeholders, they discussed overwhelmingly about changing the mindsets of people, especially men and women, how they should work together with women to change this whole scenario where women have less access to agricultural productivity. For instance, in this report, they have highlighted that if women have equal access to agricultural and productive inputs.
The new study measuring the economic cost of the gender gap in agricultural productivity provides further evidence that producing the gender gap plays a significant role in poverty production and improved nutrition outcomes, provided that gender sensitivity is highly respected. The findings clearly contribute to help make contributions and recommendations after realizing the annual cost of gender gap with $67 million for Malawi, $100 million for Tanzania and $105 million for Uganda in agricultural productivity, as Ballet Yason explains.
Within Uganda, the World Food Program right now is working with youth and specifically female farmers on agricultural productivity. Most people within the development community and indeed governments focus on agricultural inputs, fertilizers, seeds. And while this is important, it ignores one of the biggest issues in agricultural productivity, which is post-harvest losses. Farmers across sub-Saharan Africa lose up to 40%, 50% of their harvest as soon as they pull it out of the field. They're forced to sell their crops at low prices.
Other stakeholders believe that there is need to improve agricultural productivity by empowering women farmers, especially at a young age, by supplying them with agricultural inputs like seeds, fertilizers, to get big and better yields.
We know that they are constrained, especially when it comes to productivity, improving on their productivity. And some of the constraints, we know that they are usually involved in subsistence farming, and to some extent, this limits their motivation when it comes to enhancing productivity.
At times when we talk about women, it's as if it's a homogeneous group, and therefore even the programs and policies at times are generic. I think we need to know that even the women smallholder farmers are different.
If the costs of production are looked at, closing the gender gap is surely a needed activity, and we need to look at what actions can be taken now. As you see, women are disadvantaged.
A large part of the gender gap can be attributed to differential access to male family labor in Uganda, Tanzania and Malawi. One key reason for why women farm managers have less access to male family labor is that majority of them are widowed, separated or divorced.
To help women farmers in Uganda to improve their productivity. So that implies that there should be targeted support, for example, by extension workers in the Ministry of Agriculture to help women increase their productivity. That includes in terms of maybe cash crops, better access to machinery, farm machinery.
In sub-Saharan Africa, women comprise a large proportion of the agricultural labor force, yet they are consistently found to be less productive than male farmers. The gender gap in agricultural productivity, measured by the value of agricultural produce per unit of cultivated land, ranges from 4 to 25%, depending on the country and the crop. Kawesa Luama, WBS TV.